Alderman Catalano.
Here.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Alderman Lazara.
Here.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Winger. Alderman Woods.
Here.
Mayor Police.
Here, I declare a quorum present. Please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance.
Get inside information.
First off, I need a motion to approve the city council minutes of December 4th. Do I have a
So
motion?
move. Second.
Any questions, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do any citizens wish to be heard on matters not listed on the agenda? Yes, sir. Could you please go up to the microphone, state your name, address?
My name is Marvin Schnabel, 653 Brantwood Avenue in Elk Grove Village. I have both a statement and a question. Since about the middle of October, I've made 4 visits to the Building and Maintenance Office. Asked them when they were going to fix the automatic lock at the Metro train station. On the door, it states it's supposed to be open at 4:30 in the morning. There are approximately an average of 10 or more people that catch the 449 out of the station. And needless to say, it is not open when we get there. So far, it hasn't been too bad, but it's a little brisk standing out there in the morning waiting for the train. There are also people who get off of the inbound train and catch the 520 because that makes a special stop for them down the line. So there's a number of people that are waiting for that station door to open, and it's not happening. So I stopped in, I asked them if there was a problem with the timing and why it can't be fixed. And so far, they haven't been able to tell me what the problem is, other than they either haven't been able to contact the person who is contracted to take care of the timing, or they haven't had time to do it, which seems kind of strange, but it's been 2 months. And we're coming into a definite cold period. I'm sure it's not going to last. Also, the question is, I guess, who do we see who can follow up on this, because it seems it's not going anyplace so far. And I don't see any cost, extra cost for unlocking that door, because there's plenty of lights in there. You don't have to turn the 2 big bulbs on in there at 4:30. And there's no reason that you couldn't open the door. It shouldn't cost any money at all. So,
All right, thank you. Mr. Forrest, maybe you want to answer that?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. We have been aware of the issue out there with the doors not locking. And unfortunately, the original installing contractor that put that in is no longer in business. So we've contacted several different locksmiths. None of them are familiar with that system. I think I talked to 6 or 7 different companies before I did find a locksmith who felt he could help us. He came out. I met with him last week at the site. There are no manuals for that timing system that controls the lockers in any paperwork that I have. So I've been corresponding by email with him. He was able to find a manual online. He downloaded it, asked for a couple days to familiarize himself with the manual. We have an appointment with him at 10:45 next Monday for him to reset or attempt to reset the timing system. Hopefully the system's all right and it just needs some minor adjustments. So hopefully Tuesday morning it'll be unlocking at 4:30 for you.
Thank you. Alderman Roy Wesley?
John, could we, are we getting the owner's manuals, or are you just giving it to the locksmith? Is he the only one that's having them?
Mr. Forrest?
We will make a copy of the manual. He went online and found it. When I met him out there last week, we opened up the panel. He took a number of photos to try and identify that particular model. And as I say, he was able to find a manual online, so I'll be sure that we have a copy of that.
Thank you.
Okay. have another question? Alderman Wesley?
Mr. Mayor, if we cannot get this thing fixed, how much could it cost to change that lockout on another system? I mean, if we are having problems getting the manual and getting it, take it, and the company's out of business, then bring it to the council to approve, putting a different system on there. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair for people that use that train. I did not know we were having problems until this gentleman came.
Okay. Do any other citizens wish to be heard? I have no written communiques. Under Mayor's report, first off, on behalf of the entire City Council in the City of Wooddale, I'd like to wish everybody, all citizens, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and enjoy the holidays and stay safe. Next, we have we'll skip Bright Oaks right now. We'll go right to the cheerleaders who are here. These are Bensonville Wooddale Bandit cheerleaders. They came this evening to thank us for the donation we gave them about a month ago, I believe it was. They did go down to Florida. They came in 5th in the Mid-America region and Nationals in Florida. And I'd like to invite Diana Stazel, the cheer coordinator, up to the microphone, and Carol Marchuk, the head coach, cheer coach. And if you could, sure, no problem. And if you'd like to announce your assistants, coaches, and announce your cheerleaders, have them come up.
Okay, Diana's turning red, so I will do this.
Okay.
Hi, girls. I've missed them. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our Bandits coaches and cheerleaders. We are junior Pee Wee level, and as the mayor mentioned, we received 5th place in the nation. And I might add, this is the first time these girls have ever cheered together. Yes, isn't that awesome? Yes. So on our way to Florida, we made 1st place at conference and also received the overall grand champions for our division at that competition. And at NIU, we received 2nd place, which took us to Florida. And here is our 5th place trophy from Florida. Wow. So I would like to start. Miss Coach Sanel Lewis, please come join us. She's also our team mom. And my 3 lovely assistant coaches. Please join me, Coach Tiana, Coach Daria, and Coach Ashley. Okay, these girls right here did all the work. They did all the work. If it weren't for their talent and their skill sets and everything that contributed to our routines and to our practices, we would not have achieved what we did. So, let's move on. Here we go. Caden, honey, come on up. Everyone meet Caden. And let's have Jessica come on up. This is Jessica. Marley, honey, come on. I'm trying to peek around, make sure I don't miss anybody. Nora, is that you over there hiding? Come on up, honey. Amelia, can you please join us? Here's little Miss Amelia. Rosie, I see you smiling at me. Come on, honey. Okay, I'm trying to peek around the Christmas tree. Grace, here she is. Come on up. Little Miss Trista, there she is. Come on up and join us. Claudia, please come and join our group. And last but not least, I believe, is my daughter, Sophia. And on behalf of all of us, we would like to thank all of you at the Village of Wooddale for your generous.
If we can just get one picture with Mayor Police, please, would you?
Come on.
Sure.
Come on. Yes, and we'll get the trophy in there too.
What if we bring the girls up in front here and the
Let's-
entire council stand
Let's
behind
do
you?
that.
How's
Hey, there we have it. Here we go.
Maybe we should turn on the lights.
Turn on the lights. Where are the lights not turned on?
You girls can spread out a little bit. We're gonna take.
Sit down.
What? No, then you don't. No, you can't, everybody's got to stand.
Here, come over here. I'd like to see what the birthplace trophy looked like. Yeah. Must have touched the ceiling.
Art,
Oh, my. What did the little kitty?
we can move the chairs that way so we can.
Okay, smile. We're partners. Hey, pay attention.
Hold on. Wait for Brad.
Is it all snapped out?
Thank you all so much.
Come on, Brad.
Thank you.
What's wrong with it? Come on, Brad, you can do it.
You got a good picture? Right. A little cheer from the girls. Loud, loud and.
B-A-N-D-I-T-S! Bandits, bandits, we're the best! Who dat, who dat? Bandits, bandits, who dat, who dat? Bandits, bandits, go bandits!
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, boy.
Thank you very much, ladies. That was great. And if you girls would like to go home, you can. But if you'd like to stay for the meeting, it gets really exciting sometimes. It's all up to you.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it is a school night. You have to get home. Sorry, kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's Eugene doing out there? Who's he finding? Oh, the guy from the village? Now he's all of a sudden in charge of the block?
She might.
Would you get him back in? What is he? Oh, wait, I want to thank you for helping me. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for helping me.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda is the Bright Oaks permit fee reduction. Who's going to take the lead on this? Somebody going to,
What are we doing?
Mr. Murmas or Mr. Forrest? No report, right? You want to, or give a little,
Randy, nobody likes you? Trying to even out the room. Oh, I see.
No, there's no report, Mr. Mayor. This is a letter that I had spoken with the legal counsel for the Bright Oaks project. Now that the footing and foundation permit has been, the plan review's been approved, the fees have been set, I did receive a phone call from their attorney. I requested that he send a formal letter if they wanted to take up any of the issues with the fees with the city council. That's what's in your packet. I believe Mr. Shapiro is here if you have questions for him, but
okay.
it's your ball.
Anybody want to make any comment on that, or? Mr. Alderman Lazar, go ahead.
Thank you. John, have we ever negotiated that type of fees before?
Mr. Forrest?
To the best of my knowledge, the only time we've made any sort of adjustments with permit fees is when there's a retail component and the city is collecting retail sales tax. As you recall, we've had a couple of projects that we've worked with the developers on.
So there really isn't any.
Hold on,
retail-
and-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Alderman Lazar.
Sorry, thank you, Mayor. So there really isn't any retail here then?
Mr. Forrest.
It's my understanding that they're planning on having a small restaurant or a pub-type setup. Maybe Mr. Shapiro can elaborate on that, but other than that, I'm not aware of any retail component, no.
And the other thing is, the only other time I know is when another taxing body was doing a project, we might have given a break. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Alderman Jacob.
John, as far as, did they know, I'm assuming, and this is an investment company, they knew about these fees before they even started building. I would assume when you build a property, an investment property, you're gonna look into the fees involved. Did they know all these fees up front, or is this a surprise for some reason?
Mr. Forrest.
Well, as the design of the building progressed, as you're probably all aware, the building has gone through several different redesigns as they've tried to kind of get what they feel is the ideal, building for this use. So at one point, probably 5 or 6, 7 months ago, something like that, we did figure some estimated permit fees off of the value that we were given at that time. Since that time, of course, they've had a couple of issues come up that have raised the cost of the building, considerably. So the new fee structure is higher than what they originally had been quoted.
Alderman Jacob.
With the changes, did they not increase the number of units as well to make extra money on that as well?
Mr. Forrest.
I'm not really sure if they did or not.
Okay. Anything further? Alderman Lazaro.
John, has the city been responsible for any undue burden on this to make these fees higher than anticipated by them?
I don't believe so. We figured the permit fees the way that we have on hundreds of other permits over the years.
Alderman Eugene Wesley.
Mr. Mayor, on this issue, this has been ongoing for a year on this property. And unfortunate that came into a play in that soil, and they had come out with extra money. I think when they first came to us, they didn't think there was a problem with that soil and when they bought the property. I'm willing to look at some reduction on something for them, because now you are talking some major work out there, and if we wanted to go ahead and we've been on them to build there. We had put pressure on them to build, and they could have pulled away from this project, and they choose to come stay with this project. And I getting into these numbers, I don't know what numbers I wanna do on this yet, but I would like us to look into this. But on the dollar reductions that we do or we don't do, there's gonna be some stipulation put on that they have to meet a deadline that they quoted us to be completed, and if they don't, they pay them off. There would be agreement reached with them that you commit a deadline to complete that project on a certain time. If that does not meet that time, then all those fees, they aren't getting any waivers. There's gotta be a contract like that, I like to see. I think it's only best to keep this project going, and they have put out a lot of money already. You've seen what they had come out. I'm willing to work, everyone says, we gotta work with developers. There's a developer, let's work with him. So, I wanna study this a little more, but I don't wanna kill this totally yet. I wanna look at some more figures. So, all I'm asking is to leave it on the agenda to discuss this at a committee level before we get more into this. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Anything for?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman-
may I
Go ahead.
address this? Thank
Mr.
you.
Shapiro?
Thank you. Again, I'm Dan Shapiro on behalf of Bright Oaks from the law firm of Robin, Solomon, and Pat. In listening to these comments, first of all, I appreciate you putting us on the agenda so quickly. And one of the reasons we're here now is because it is a time-sensitive situation, as Mr. Forrest just explained, with foundation permits and other permits forthcoming in the coming weeks. So we want to address this now to the extent there would be any relief from the city. We're not blaming the city for anything. As a matter of fact, you guys have been a terrific group to work with. And And we've tried to be as equally terrific and responsive in putting up this building, which I think at the end of the day, if we can get this up and the cost overruns can be managed, will be just a terrific building, a beautiful building for the community. And that's the intent. What we're saying is this is really unusual. I've been doing this for several years, and I've never seen a situation with a seismic problem for a potential earthquake situation where you have to basically restructure the building for an extraordinary amount. It's the first time I've ever seen it. And so, and my guess is not many people have experienced that either in this room. And it's not like $200,000, it's a $2 million hit. So we come to you with that in mind, not because we have hat in hand or we're crying poor, but we're trying to find some help to fill in the gap for this really $2 million unanticipated cost. One of the ways that we thought there might be some opportunity for discussion is to look at building permit fees. You know, we can talk about other things that might be one day, you know, discussed, but frankly, we don't have the time to look into those bigger sorts of opportunities and options. And we not only would like to work with you, and I appreciate Alderman speaking to this point, but, you know, we're also going to try to work with other taxing bodies to see what relief we can get from them. I mean, I'm just being as transparent and honest as possible to see what we can do to try to cover this issue. It's a situation where, of course, there are investors, and now going back to the well for $2 million is a tough sell. And so we would like to work, continue to work, and really need your help.
Alderman Woods.
So do you guys have everything in place to move forward? It's almost sounding like you don't. So either.
Well, I'm not sure.
Either you accepted the $2 million over the last year, did your due diligence and are moving forward with the construction, in which case then you economically looked at the project and said it's feasible even with the $2 million hit, whether you raised other capital or not, or and redesigning the building, improved its size or shape and marketability. I don't know. I don't really want to debate every little detail. The project's, you know, kind of been ongoing for, you know, a couple or so years. But for me, it's a little late. You know, it's the bottom of the ninth inning. You knew the $2 million was there, and now you're coming. So I have a little hard time with. You knew there were fees, whether you knew if they were.
The $2 million is not the fees. It's $1 million in fees and $2 million to rebuild the building to deal with the seismic issue. We're aware of the fees. I'm not arguing about that. Staff has been great in keeping us aware, but certainly unaware that the fix to deal with the structural integrity of the building would cost $2 million because of a possible earthquake zone.
Right, but the knowledge of that didn't happen yesterday.
No, it didn't.
So what I'm saying is when this first came, there should have been talks about this. It would feel a little better to me, as opposed to, you know, everything kind of, or at least outwardly, because I'm not part of the build or design team, that it's dragging, you know, and then seems like at the last minute, it's always we need something from the village, and we haven't really seen a lot of progress. I'm not picking, I'm just telling you outwardly what that looks like.
I understand
Go ahead.
the perception that you have, Mr. Alderman, and in retrospect, if I, you know, could do something different, I would have been here in September, but we're here now. And we're still in as much need for whatever relief or discussion or further compromise or brainstorming we can get from the city council as we were then. And it wasn't intentional, we're not trying to leverage anything, it just, that's how it went.
Alderman Wesley, you had a question?
What do you mean by other taxing bodies that you're working with to work?
Go ahead, Mr. Shapiro.
We will approach the school districts. I have not made a phone call to them
For,
But I want to talk to the school districts to see whether there's any property tax relief they can afford. And if they say no, they say no. But I have an obligation to the client to
Okay.
try to explore that option. And if I don't, I'm not doing my job. And that's what I'm saying.
Follow?
Yes.
Go ahead, follow.
the earthquake thing came to us through our building department how many months ago?
Over a year.
Over a
Mr.
year
Forrest?
ago,
It's probably been about a year, yeah.
okay?
Go ahead.
I personally find it offensive that this letter's coming today when we've had such a long period of time. Are you saying to me within that year that you knew this, that you, evidently you put the fees in your costs when you're doing your project, that we're waiting this long for it to come to this council at last minute? Meaning, by me saying that, I'm sitting up here looking at the entire city, and we're sitting here talking about a TIF district on the Elgin O'Hare. I have employees to pay when I'm talking about a TIF district. This project's been in the works for many years. When we do our budget, I'm asking the building department, how you gonna do your budget? I keep hearing it, oh, we got ManorCare to help pay for our building department too. I have not sat with the finance director on this in any which way. There's, how much are we looking, 300,000? So I don't know what that's gonna affect with our budget for us coming up. Also, you're looking at the school districts, you know, the school districts, park district, fire districts is gonna affect with that TIF district too. So I really don't feel comfortable with this because we haven't been informed with it. This letter came to us when? December 11th? Today's what, week? Is it fair that I had to look at this within a week of $300-some thousand with the finance director? And we've had a year period?
Alderman,
Go ahead, Mr.
I would,
Shapiro.
I would certainly welcome your conversation with your finance director to get you more comfortable. I would only ask that if you do that, or if anyone on the city council does do that, if that could happen sooner rather than later, and we can come back and you know, have another discussion, just because of where we are with the winter months as explained in my letter.
You have another follow-up?
To respond to his,
You have a follow-up to him?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I understand your concerns on it, but we have budget time too, so,
I understand.
and,
I'm just, I get what you're saying.
okay.
And to the extent you talk to your finance director, I think that's a reasonable inquiry for you to make.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll make a quick comment real quick. I mean, I know about 2 years ago, we had a business in the industrial park, big addition, asked for some help as well. They've been here for, I don't know, 25 or 30 years, and we never did anything like that before. For me, this would just set a bad precedent. We'll have everybody lining up for reduction in permit fees. I don't think we should be doing this. Alderman Jacob.
I kind of agree with both Eugene and Roy there. I think maybe we should look at it and possibly discuss it. I'm definitely not for giving a reduction of 50%. Again, as a developer, I would hope that just from sitting here on city council, I know we get budgets on all kinds of projects. Sometimes they're overrun. And I would imagine you guys, or your developers and investors, took that into account, that, you know, they may not have enough money or might need more money at some point. So I'd be willing to look at it, but definitely not the type of money that you guys are asking for. Thank you.
Alderman Lazara.
Mr. Shapiro, I don't know if you've answered this question or not, but if we don't give you any relief, will this stop the project?
Mr. Shapiro.
It will not.
Thank you.
Right.
I would,
ahead.
Mr. Alderman, I would lie to you if I tried to say we're here now at this point and we're going to shut it down if we don't get the money, and I wouldn't be honest with you. The project's going to continue, but there might be some things that we would have to do to take away from some of the other elements of the project that could otherwise make it as beautiful. I don't know what that is, but if there's a $2 million gap, there's going to have to be some compromise or loss or give in terms of what we had planned.
All right, thank you. Unless somebody wants to make a motion, I'm gonna continue.
I'll make a motion to look at this in committee.
Second.
And one question, I think the manager's gonna ask the same question. Go ahead, Mr. Manager, Mr. Murmas.
Thank you for borrowing your microphone. The next committee meeting's January 8th. I don't even know if that timetable will work. Just January 8th is the next committee, just so everybody knows.
If that's the next time we can get before you, then that's the next time we can get before you.
Put it in the.
I wasn't sure whether you were asking them if it could work or us if it could work. It works for us. I don't know about you guys.
Go ahead, Alderman Wesley.
I think you're right.
The reason why I want to revisit this is, okay, so, you asked him if it would change if he would pull out, he won't pull out because he's so far into it now. But the point is, that could change. He can come up and say, okay, now we got to take this facial off and not design the building that.
No, can't do that.
But he could downsize his plan, come in with revised plan and downsize. Am I right, John?
Mr. Forrest, no.
I don't think that they would downsize the building. What they may do is take some of the amenities away that they're planning on providing, but, you know, again, we're just kind of guessing at this point. I just want to make one comment, too. There's a lot of figures being thrown around here, 1 million, 300,000. Again, in the letter, the building permit fee for the building is $676,088. In addition to that, there's a $221,000 letter of credit or construction bond that has to be posted. And then there's another $20,000 contribution that is to be made to the fire district at the time of permit issuance. That was in the developer's agreement. So although these figures are getting close to $1 million, 221,000 of that could be posted as a letter of credit, so it's not necessarily money out of pocket. In his letter here, they're talking about seeking relief from $253,000 on the permit fees. So, that leaves us still collecting a permit fee of $420-some thousand for the building.
Right, but again, there would be a precedent. Alderman Sosmarski, you were
You
next.
guys have that put under the finance committee?
We could, Mr. Murmas. We'll have to take a vote. Alderman Wesley, before I call a vote on that.
I guess this is a question for the attorney.
Mayor.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't even know if we could do this legally. Instead of doing permit fees, could we give them a reduction on the property tax as city portion?
No,
Ms. Dixon.
No, I don't see that would be possible to give a reduction or a rebate.
For a period of time?
Abatement.
No.
I could look into that further for you, but I'm not sure that this is the type of agreement or if this is the type of time that you could do that.
What do you mean, type of
Go ahead,
time?
Alderman Wesley.
Type of time?
There are certain, under the Illinois Revenue Code, there are very specific provisions in which you can offer tax rebate. And to give you a definitive answer, I would have to know more about the agreement and where they are in the agreement. Certainly, if you're going to refer this to committee, that is something that we could give you a legal opinion on.
I'd like to put that on the table, too.
Alderman Catalano.
Is this project getting any federal or federal assistance?
Mr. Shapiro.
No.
I believe this is using EB funding, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Private money.
Alderman Jacob.
Mr. Forrest, you've been here longer than any one of us up here has. So, as the mayor said, would this be setting a precedent, or has this ever been done in the past with another business or another building?
For this type of project, it would be setting a precedent.
Right. All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call on this one.
Alderman Catalano?
No.
This is to go to committee. Pardon me? Well, we need some direction.
Ready?
Yeah.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Alderman Woods?
No.
Okay.
Passes.
Go to committee.
It does go to
It goes to committee, yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to see, because I didn't want it to go to committee and we had 7 no's. Just,
Well, I just
didn't-
want,
I don't want to waste.
I just want to say we have never done that on any other item that has put a motion on the floor, go committee. It's always been the chairman's responsibility. The chairman asks to put on the agenda, he has the right. We have never done this in the past, take a roll call to consider and put on the committee agenda. I don't ever remember that.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, in that there was a motion and a second made, you would have had to have taken some action once a motion was put on the table, so.
Okay, let's go.
So you
Mr.
made a
Mayor, can I
motion.
just get clarification, which committee and when?
Hold on, everybody, hang, ease up.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Go ahead.
Mayor. Just clarification as to which committee will appear before?
Finance.
And would that be on January 5th?
8th.
8th? Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
That concludes my report. Mr. Murmas.
Thank you again. 2 items, Mr. Mayor. One, I just want to remind everyone at home that City Hall is closed early on Christmas Eve. They'll be closing at, or will be closing at 12:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and then we're closed on Christmas Day in observance of the holiday. And also on behalf of all of city staff, we'd like to thank the council for working with them this past year. We feel that we've got a lot done, and we congratulate the council on their accomplishments, and it's been a pleasure working with you and serving the residents for the past year, this being the last council meeting of the year. So thanks again.
Thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have 6 items on the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Any objections? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Roy Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
No.
1 no. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items on the agenda. Item number 1, approval of final pay request to John Neary Construction for Woodside subdivision drainage, not to exceed amount of $5,941.15. Item number 2, partial pay request number 12, Williams Brothers Construction, North Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrades, Phase 1B, in the amount not to exceed $502,889.55, excuse me. Item number 3, approval of purchase of a new 2.5-ton dump truck in the amount not to exceed $145,748. Item number 4, approval of purchase of the installation of 3 streetlight poles on South Cedar Avenue in the amount not to exceed $15,750. Item number 5, approval of termination of the existing letter of credit accepting 2-year maintenance bond for Arbor Woods subdivision. Item number 6, an ordinance amending the municipal code of City of Wooddale to adjust the water deposit required for the establishment of city water. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Questions? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
No.
1 no. That passes. Next, committee chairman reports, planning and zoning, Alderman Woods.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Public health and safety, Alderman Roy Wesley.
I have one, a resolution seeking approval agreement between the City of Wooddale and the Illinois Department of Transportation and Metra for local agency railroad highway grade crossing improvements.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Second.
Alderman G. Second. Roy first. G. Any questions on this? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. Next, excuse me, Alderman Roy Wesley, does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Thank you. Public Works, Alderman Lazara.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 reports. First one, I have a resolution permitting construction by the city of Wooddale on state highways. That is my motion.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Any questions? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes.
Second, I have approval of a temporary utility construction maintenance easement between the city and the property owner of 250 South Cedar Avenue for the installation of a streetlight. That is my motion.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Was that Eugene?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes.
Number 3, approval of a permanent utility maintenance easement between the city and the property owner at 250 South Cedar Avenue for ongoing maintenance of a streetlight. That is my motion.
Second.
Tony was second.
Yes, I
Any questions on this one? Roll call.
know. Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley? Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes.
And that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Finance and Administration, Alderman Sismarski.
Thank you, Mayor. I have an ordinance revising the amounts of longevity pay bonus for certain classes of City of Wooddale employees. That is my motion.
Second.
Peter? I do have a question on this. I actually want to make a statement, very simple. Regarding longevity pay, looking into this, the reason these were put in a long time ago was because salaries at municipalities were much lower than the private sector. Now, municipalities, from what I understand, the average pay is 15% higher than the private sector. I was wondering if we could possibly take longevity pay out for any new employees, leave it for all existing employees. Anybody want to discuss that? If not, no problem.
No.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
You have union employees with this too,
No, 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 this is only the non-union here. And that would be only be for new employees, not anybody who's grandfathered in. Mr. Manager.
Yeah, just to clarify, so everybody's on the same page. The item before you is strictly for non-union employees. All the union employees are dictated by their individual contracts, of which we have 3 for our different classes of union employees. So this is for non-union employees only.
Alderman Eugene Wesley, you were next.
Mr. Mayor, I would ask that this, is there a motion on the floor to approve?
There's a motion to approve.
Okay, I really think we need to hold back on this and visit this longevity. I understand it's only affecting, I would have a motioner, if he agrees, to pass the manual, okay? But do not pass the part with the longevity pay until we discuss it in further detail. And that's the obligation. Our city manager's got the right to pass the manual without our approval or pass the manual. But he does not have the right, authority, unless the council agree to add that extra money in there. So I'm asking that this council, just like that committee, that we hold off on this until we revisit this. because there's other issues involved in this legislation. Thank you.
Alderman Jacob, you were next.
I know what you're asking, but I feel the union staff gets it. I mean, I feel all of our staff works very hard here, and the non-union people work just as hard, and that it should be fair amongst the whole city, not taking it away from one and giving it to the other.
You okay? Alderman Woods, you were next.
You can,
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned about 15%. What chart are you looking at, the 15% that our city staff gets paid more?
No, there was a study done, I don't know, it's about a year ago, that they were talking about private sector versus municipalities. It used to be, the municipalities were always cheaper rate of pay,
Okay.
but their benefits were top-notch. Now, they say the rate of pay versus the private sector is about 10 to 15%. It was just a study that was said.
It wasn't,
I figured I would bring it up, that's all.
it wasn't a study that was based on the city.
Not
with
on the city specific, no, we did not do this study.
Okay.
Alderman Woods, go ahead.
Yeah, couple questions. The city manager, there's 2 people affected by this, am I correct?
Mr. Murmas.
Currently, this year, which we already have the amount set for this year, we were talking next fiscal year. This year, we have longevity pay for 2 non-union employees. Next year, I believe we would only have longevity pay for 1 union employee. Well, one's retiring, so we'd minus 1. Would we bump up another one?
Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the current year's budget, there is 3 non-union employees, the one of which is retiring before the next fiscal year, so that'll take the number down to 2 for next fiscal year, which is why 2 was presented in the document from committee, because that'll be the actual net effect next year.
Okay.
Go
What
ahead,
I'm trying to
follow.
get to is the dollar amount is low, so I'm sure we'll have no problem finding $300 or $400 to cover that. And if everybody here is concerned that all staff, I mean, we just had a report done that says they're not overpaid, but if the bigger question is everybody in the city overpaid? Well, we should discuss everybody and not single out a certain group of those people. So if everybody wants to talk about looking at everybody's salary in the city, I'm open to the conversation. If we're gonna pick apart a certain group and then to go after them, I'm not interested. Thanks.
Alderman Eugene Wesley.
I think the whole point is, why I'm trying to hold off on this is the problem is, I am looking at to revisit everyone's salary before the budget. I'm hoping that we have a discussion about some salaries here in discussion. But the point is, we may choose, and I'm not saying the council's gonna choose, maybe $150 ain't the dollar amount that these people deserve, because maybe they do work beyond and they should be compensated a little more. I don't say. I just want to revisit this with everyone's salary. What you're doing is you're setting a policy here that the government get in without visiting any other policies. I'm just saying, let's hold off. It ain't going to kill us, guys, till May 1, okay? Until we look at everyone's salary down the line here for non-union personnel. It ain't going to hurt. I mean, if they that hard, I mean, I just don't understand why it has to be done tonight. Let's revisit everyone's salary, non-union salaries, and see where we go. We have contracts coming up that's going to negotiate. Let's look at everyone's.
Go ahead, Alderman Woods.
I was gonna say, I agree, it's not a big deal. So 300, let's revisit it and move forward. Then if you wanted to change it or change everybody's salary or give them more money, you can.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but we're going
What I'm saying is the direct opposite. There's no big deal to pass the $600 or $500.
Right, it's
whatever.
$300.
$300.
We're not talking about a lot of money. It's
If
only
we're gonna
2
say 50
employees.
employees, then we got another conversation.
What's going to happen if we
Guys, one at a time. And I only brought this up because of what the study was. There's been discussion on this before, longevity pay, stipends, this and that. Wanted to see if there was a conversation. There's no conversation. Alderman Jacob, go ahead.
Mr. City Manager, how long has longevity pay been there for the union employees?
Mr. Murmas? I don't know if you know that answer.
I don't know that answer. I know that Local 150, their first contract was probably ratified in what, 05 or 06, if I remember correctly, and it was in their initial contract, I believe. So at least that long for 150. PD, I'd have to defer to Greg. 2005? Oh, early 90s. So quite some time.
Alderman Wood, Alderman Ray Wesley. Oh, you had a follow-up? Sorry, Peter.
With that, I wanted to say the same thing that Alderman Wood said. If we're going to talk about salaries for everybody, that's a different story, but it seems like we're picking on the non-union employees, and that's not right. The union people get it, the non-union people should get it too.
Okay. Alderman Ray Wesley.
Why don't we just do what the city manager said last week, that we just leave that page out? Help me out here.
Mr. Murmas?
There was some talk from the council or the committee last week, why is this coming before us before the budget season? The reason it came procedurally, we wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing. As part of the personnel manual, this was included in that. We've been working on the personnel manual for quite some time. The component within the personnel manual that needed your approval was this item because it was monetary. So that's why it came to you before the budget. It had nothing to do with the budget. It was more personnel policy manual driven. So that's why it came to you. If you like, we can certainly pass the manual with the updates, leave the longevity pay as is, and then we can always go back if you want to change the numbers later. As I mentioned last week, we can do that. We just brought it to you because we're in the process of finalizing the manual, and we want to get the manual done.
I got a follow-up.
Go ahead. We have that many questions on $300? Okay.
Well, we gotta
Thank
make-
you, that was my question.
We gotta make sure the attorney makes her money.
Go ahead.
When the mayor mentioned about the salaries, come budget time, I would like to see the city manager and the finance director take the towns around us and do evaluation on your, just not going out to a company, going around us to see how our wages are for Public Works, finance director, and the employees. I think that's, instead of a study of a group.
Is something pertinent?
Well, I just want to call this a question.
That's what I was
Let's
gonna
do a vote
because
here.
Kinda, go, call the roll.
What are we doing?
This is to pass the $300, basically.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Was that the motion to pass it, or was it to?
No, mine
Yeah.
was to revise it, revising the amounts.
Alderman Sismarski, Alderman Jacob, second.
Okay.
To revise it as stated by the manager. The $150. All
for two.
Yeah, all of them are gonna be adjusted. You have the new one in the packet,
Right. Correct.
as it is in the ordinance. You have a,
And the rate will be.
no. They're adding $150. Nothing else has changed. As is, in the packet.
Okay. Are you ready for the,
Roll call, yes, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes.
This is my report, Mayor.
Thank you. No other business, approval list of bills, December 18th, Alderman Sismarski.
List of bills for December 18, 2014 at $2,426,523.42. There's my motion.
Second.
Questions? Alderman Jacob.
I have a question for the police chief. We have a lot of times on the bills, I see dollars spent on the newer police vehicles. What kind of warranties do our vehicles come with? I'm not sure what kind of warranties we get on those.
Chief?
I know the new vehicles are covered by a 3-year warranty. I don't know, I'd have to defer to the garage to for sure what is covered. I know we've had some issues with the new vehicles with the one seatbelt receiver and also with 2 door panels, some door stitching coming loose, not from any misuse or anything, but possibly in the design of it. There is some discussion of whether those door panels might be the subject of a recall down the road. And certainly we would, put all the cars through that in the case. I think what we're seeing is even the couple door panels that we've had recently, where the stitching is coming loose, those are the first utility interceptor vehicles that we bought. And as I think with most new vehicles, they find certain things that they upgrade with each model year, and we haven't had those happen yet with the newer cars. So the garage does, I know, do a very good job of reviewing each repair, and if it can be a warranty repair, they take it to a dealership as opposed to fixing it themselves. So I am aware that they do that.
Go ahead, Alderman Jacob.
And the seatbelt issue, that's not covered under the warranty either? I know that it's not on the list of bills this time, but I know we've paid for seatbelts before.
I don't believe so. But I am completely aware that the garage, if it becomes that it's a issue that's covered under warranty, they let us know, because that usually means the car will be down for a few extra hours while they take it to a dealership, because the dealership has to do it. So Matt can probably attest to it too. I know they are good about finding things that are under warranty and covering it under that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Roy Wesley, you're next.
This is for Public Works. Page 10, National Seed Ice Melt.
Mr. York.
What
Yes, sir.
What is this, rock salt? Tell us-
Yes, sir,
tell us-
bag salt that we utilize at the City Hall area, as well as at Public Works, at entryways.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't know if you went out for looking at from some prices, but this price is a little high.
Well, we
So-
will,
Mr. York.
we will relook at pricing in the future.
We've had this talk before,
Sir.
so.
Alderman Woods.
Yeah. Maybe this is for Matt. Page 3, Commonwealth Edison Electric Service for 475 Arbor. Is that the lift station for Arbor Woods?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
York.
Yes, I believe it is.
So we've paid the electric bill even though we haven't taken that over? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing the maintenance on that facility and have been doing that since before I became on board.
But we're just now, this evening, past taking ownership of that. Why were we doing?
You know, historically, I'm going to have to look into it to see if we started because we wanted to ensure that the electric bill was paid so that that was operational all the time. I think that that was a concern. Am I remembering that one correctly, John?
Mr. Forrest.
Yes, we did that with Arbor Woods. I believe, or I'm sorry, with Ethan Woods.
Oh, it was Ethan Woods, I'm sorry.
I believe, though, the sanitary lift station that serves Arbor Woods also serves the townhomes and the single-family residences that Concord built previous to the Arbor Woods subdivision, so it's kind of a shared lift station. I don't know if that would enter into why we would pay it or not. Ms. Nixon?
John did correct, yeah, Mr. Forrest is
Yeah,
correct.
no,
It was
that's fine, 'cause
Ethan Woods that we started to pay for, and typically the reason we would be to ensure continued correct operation of the facility.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alderman Woods.
Page 12. The bottom of the page. The facade program payment.
Who wants to take that one? Mr. Forrest?
Do we, I'm going to try to make it simple.
Go ahead.
Do we have a list or something that shows that we're the given percentage done that needs to be done to cover the payment according to the agreement?
Mr. Forrest.
We haven't received any amended or updated waivers yet. My intent is not to have you approve it tonight and hand the check over tomorrow. With the holiday schedule and missing several council meetings, the next time this would come up for discussion is several weeks away. I had a long discussion. I've been to the site a couple times this week, spoken to the contractor, spoken with our building inspector. You know, all of the structural work has been done, the concrete work's been done, the storm sewers have been relocated. They're almost finished with the drive-it. The roofing materials are on hold. He's not going to install the metal roof until they're finished with the drive-it. The cladding, the masonry cladding, the brick that's going to be going underneath the drive-it on the building is on order. They had to order that from an out-of-state supplier because the one around here stopped making it because of the weather. So, yeah, I think the argument could be made that they are 50% through the project. But the check would not be handed out until we receive the waivers that I believe is in the agreement as well.
You have a follow-up on that, Alderman Woods?
I would have slight disagreement, but so we're going to approve the payment, and what can we use as, a safety measure upon city attorney's approval, looking at it?
Well, I think the payment is dictated by the agreement. Mr. Forrest and I have had a telephone conversation about this, so if you want to make the payment subject to attorney review of completion of the project or Mr. Forrest's review, so long as the applicant is in compliance with the agreement, the applicant can be paid. If staff determines that there isn't compliance, payment's not made.
Should that be a separate motion? Should we take the 36,000, what is it, 36,000, correct, out and make a separate motion? Ms. Dixon?
I do have one more comment.
Okay.
Rough inspections were done earlier this week, conditionally approved. There are a couple of punch list items that the inspector wants corrected prior to approving the rough inspections. But once the rough inspections are approved, yeah, I think the argument could be made that it's 50% completed.
You have anything further on that, or?
I don't want to debate it on the floor, but I would disagree.
What about, do we need a separate motion if we're going to put an attorney?
Well, at this point in time, I don't know that it's a legal determination as to whether there's satisfaction with the contract. If staff has made a determination that they've met the criteria for payment, that's a staff determination.
Alderman Wesley?
I think the problem is this bill should be removed. Second of all, that project should have been done already. The deadline that was supposed to be done, when we went into this program, this project should be done. There was days out there that didn't even work. You know what, my opinion, I don't care if they have to wait till we come back for Christmas to approve that bill. It's our money. We put out the money, the city council put out the money to do this program. It should have been completed already, because if I ain't mistaken, when the permit was issued, correct me if I'm wrong, how many days did they say that project will take?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
I thought it was, well anyways, I agree with Mr. Woods here. I don't meet the requirement, I don't think it met the requirement of 50% payment. So it's a city money, we pay in this program. I say take that bill out and they can wait till we come back.
Well, then we would need a motion to pull this.
Can I just?
Go ahead, Alderman Woods.
So, I don't want to stop I don't want to stop the program.
Right.
But I want some assurance that it's 50%. And I get what the city attorney just said, that people looked at it, but this was my question from day one. Any project that I know of, have been involved with private sector or in the city, we had a contractor statement saying there's 50 items and each of those items cost X amount of dollars. Those are certainly interchangeable. So to stand there and look at it, I mean, I'd have to go through the whole project myself, but driving by, I just want to make sure I'm protecting the city and that we're not paying ahead of time. This is a little different scenario, and since those things weren't done in the front that I asked for, I'm a little more cautious in the middle handing out the check, that's all. So I don't want to stop it, but somewhere there should be, even if staff writes down the things that need to happen to finish, or, what's there, and look at it. And then
Mr. Forrest, go ahead.
And that's the paperwork I was referring to when, at the beginning of the conversation. We have to receive that before we would hand the check over to them.
Right, you won't, so staff will not hand over the check until he receives all the waivers and the work is the punch list items.
Well, we'll get the
is complete.
contractor's, affidavit.
Okay. Alderman Roy Wesley, go ahead.
John, if we held back this $36,000, Does this company have money to operate, to buy materials and stuff? Or are they using this $36,000 to buy what they need left?
Mr. Forrest?
Well, in a construction project like this, as Alderman Wood knows, you know, if a bank's financing it, as you reach certain milestones in the process, you go to the bank with your waivers and your contractor statements, and you get payouts that are staged throughout the process. And that's basically what we're doing. We're kind of participating with the owner as the bank that's doing the construction loan.
So it wouldn't matter if we held back.
I really don't.
It wouldn't stop it any which way.
Well, he's not gonna hand the
Well-
check over anyways until he receives all the waivers. He hasn't received the waivers yet, correct?
Correct. Again, it
He's
was-
just being, are you being proactive because we're not gonna have meetings for the next 2 weeks?
Correct.
The problem here, we've had problems with waivers before. And I think we're leery about with things with waivers. I
Right,
mean, nothing against staff or anything, but even with staff, waivers have gone through without, and we paid without waivers. I'd like to see those. I mean, at least the attorney
All right,
sees them.
then pull this bill from make a separate motion. It should not be paid until the waivers. We'll need a new total.
But, Mayor, just,
Go ahead.
I mean, we've
Alderman
done
Woods.
this in the past. Can't we okay the check? And then when that's why I was saying, maybe there's a proponent where the city attorney can look at it. I don't want to wait,
Well,
cause
no.
the guy to wait another extra month, but I just
No.
want that assurance.
We would make the motion separate because we can't make the motion, or could we make the motion with all the entire bills?
The cleanest thing to do is someone to move to withdraw this bill from the approval of bills, and then there can be a separate motion made on that particular bill.
Okay. I'll make a motion to withdraw this bill from the list of bills. Since I brought it up,
I'll second.
Any discussion there? Alderman Jacob?
A question on another item.
Well,
Well, let's,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Weir.
Give me a roll call on this. It should-
Don't we have a motion to approve the list of bills, and you have a second motion already, so you got to vote on that first?
No, this is a internal motion to withdraw that one bill from the main motion.
Leave it to the
So-
attorney.
Okay. Let me just, otherwise,
And he didn't.
Mike, do you agree? You made the first motion for the list of bills.
Sure. Yes.
And Peter, you were the second, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a problem, right?
What are you asking?
Okay. We need a new total. Did you have that? Oh, we need a roll call on the withdrawal of the one.
We need a roll call on the original
No.
No.
minus,
The withdrawal of.
Withdrawal of the 36,000.
okay, that's the one with Art Woods
Yes.
and Frank Lazar.
Right.
Okay. We ready?
Yeah.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
No.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Now we need a motion, and Brad, correct me if I'm, my math, I'm doing this quickly here.
He's got it.
2 million,
He's a finance guy, let him do
you have it, Mike?
Let him,
Oh,
let him do it.
go ahead, Brad.
That's what we paid him for.
I came up with $2,390,523.42.
That's what I had.
2,390,523.42.
All right, do we have that as a motion?
Yes.
42 cents.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, Alderman Sismarski, Alderman Jacob. Second, Alderman Jacob, you had another question.
Concern on something that Mr. Forrest had said. Last week, Alderman Woods on the Arbor Woods had asked to make sure that the Arbor Woods, the lift station, was going to be put on a warranty. And we subsequently got a letter from or an email from the attorney and the city manager that that was done. However, Mr. Forrest said that that's co-owned or with the Concord Homes. So is there going to be a warranty with that lift station, or is there not going to be a warranty? Who owns that?
Ms. Dixon?
We do have a warranty on it. We have a maintenance bond that's been provided for it for 2 years, and we have the bill of sale.
All right.
E-
Go ahead, Alderman
Even
Ziegler.
though the Concord Homes has some involvement with it?
Go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Forrest, I'm not aware of what involvement Concord Homes has in it.
Mr. Forrest.
Yeah, that was a separate agreement between Concord and Mr. Judas when he began the Arbor Woods development. It's my understanding that he has control over the lift station and is able to give it to us by the bill of sale. And it has been included in the bill of sale, and it's also been specifically included in the revised 2-year maintenance bond.
Okay, I just wanted to check since you had said it was with Concord and Alderman Woods had asked to make sure that was put in the bill of sale. Thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Woods?
Could I just get a copy of the revised documents at some point? No rush.
The bill of sale he's talking about?
The bill of sales and the maintenance bond.
They're right here.
What's regarding the bill? Okay. All right, we'll get that. Any other questions on the bills? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
No.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
All right. So now we need a motion on this 36,000. Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to pass or release the 36,000, subject to waivers and attorney's approval.
Second.
Any questions on this? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
No.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes. That concludes the bills. We have no executive session, no items to be referred. I need a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.